Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the Awesome Walter YouTube channel. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when new videos are going up. This video is long overdue. Apologies for that, but I finally had some time to dedicate to it, so let's get this started. Way back in 2017, I made a couple top 5 videos for Channel Awesome counting down the best 90s Nickelodeon Nicktoons and Cartoon Network shows. Hey Arnold and Dexter's Laboratory topped both those lists respectively, leading to separate countdowns covering their best episodes. All the links to these top 5 installments are in the description below if you want to refresh your memory. Long story short, I've wanted to match these two up in a retro 90s battle for years. They're very different shows with very different styles, but came along at a time when both their networks were in a golden age of creativity. Hey Arnold and Dexters Lab constructed quite the legacy for themselves, as both series are remembered fondly and helped define the 90s era for Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. But which one is better? Which show achieved more of what they were trying to do? Which show had the better episodes? Which show spawned the better movies? Which show had the better characters? To find out, we have to discuss both individually and outline their strengths and weaknesses. Let's start with Cartoon Network's boy genius in Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Lab debuted on Cartoon Network in 1996 and very quickly became a popular show. With a few notable exceptions, the format of the series featured 3 7-minute segments per episode. The dynamic between Dexter and his sister Dee Dee was at the center of the show and led to some of its best stories. This little red-headed boy was filled with charisma that kept viewers wanting to see what crazy invention he'd think of next. Dee Dee was the perfect foil, both in appearance and personality. As the show went on, she was given a little more development and grew just beyond Dexter's annoying sibling. Their parents also had decent development put into them through the first 2 seasons. My favorite episode of the show features the entire family working together, and that is a testament to how well these characters evolved and bounced off each other. Mandark became a staple of the show as Dexter's main rival, and that produced some memorable interactions that fans of the series can easily recall. Dexter's Lab itself provided a great place for the series to expand on imaginative concepts and designs. Anything was possible in this science fiction-y world, and when you put that up against its classic and distinctive comedy, the result was something really special. It also wasn't just focused on Dexter and his lab. Other recurring bits were Dial M for Monkey and the Justice Friends. While Justice Friends had some great moments, Dial M for Monkey was the better segment. It had a really fun and unique character in the superhero Monkey and sent him off on interesting and fun adventures. From wrestling for the fate of the Earth against the Randy Savage-voiced intergalactic champion Rasslor to redeeming one of his own kind in Simeon, Dial M for Monkey displayed a mix of quirky humor and superhero action. That mix applies to the Justice Friends as well, and they both took place in the same universe as Dexter, so once in a while, we'd get a crossover featuring most of, or all, of these characters. I reviewed the Dexter movie, Ego Trip, here on the channel, so check that out for more detailed thoughts, but I remember really liking it as a kid. Upon my rewatch, it didn't hold up quite as well as I thought it would, but it still did some really interesting stuff with Dexter and time travel. This also was supposed to be the end of the show, but it was revived in 2001 for 2 more seasons under a new creative team. This is where the negative aspects of the show really crept in. Seasons 3 and 4 of Dexter's Lab weren't very good. Not to say they were worthless or didn't feature a good episode every once in a while, but they paled in comparison to what came before, and in some aspects, the show was unrecognizable. That applies to more than just the revamped character models and backgrounds. The tone of the show shifted and no longer showcased most of the trademark humor and clever writing that the original seasons enjoyed through creator Genndy Tartakovsky and his team. Not to say that every episode in the original run was a grand slam, but you could just feel how different it was once Tartakovsky was no longer involved. Even with those weaknesses taken into account, Dexter's Lab is remembered as a very high-quality show that 100% holds up today. Your favorite episodes will still likely make you smile, laugh, and care about these great characters. I've talked at length about my love for Hey Arnold and how much I thought that show captured an authentic perspective on growing up with friends in the neighborhood and the little adventures you'd find yourself in. I had a blast rewatching the series a couple years ago, and it's one of those shows that has actually gotten better with age. You understand more of what they're trying to say and can process emotion better, so it becomes all the more affecting on that level. The stories ranged from funny to heartfelt to adventurous and everything in between. The characters often grappled with different situations emotions, and even if they were silly, there was always a positive message layered into the episodes. It also never felt like it was talking down to you. The show found a balance that was really rare. It could show, through Arnold, how to navigate tough problems and handle issues with all types of people. Empathy was often showcased in Arnold's stories. You could look behind the curtain on someone with an intimidating facade. We got to see that underneath gruff or scary exteriors, we're all just people who deal with a lot of the same things. I don't think I've seen a cartoon portray this better than Hey Arnold did. Arnold himself is one of the most relatable protagonists I've seen in a kids show. His willingness to see the good in people and help those in need was admirable, but we saw him struggle with a lot of issues of his own. The main one being the mystery of what happened to his parents. The show really took its time with even addressing this, and it was the perfect progression. We got to know Arnold and relate to him long before being told of this tragedy. The best episodes of the show feature this plot line, but there are many more that tug on the heartstrings almost as much. The Christmas episode with Mr. Wynn and his daughter is a standout for how mature the emotion was presented. Arnold's grandparents were simultaneously hilarious and wise, especially old Steely Phil. Gerald, Helga, Harold, Eugene, Mr. Simmons, and more of the core cast all had great backstories and were fleshed out almost as well, in Helga's case just as well, as Arnold himself. I know I focus a lot on the show's heart and more serious moments, but Hey Arnold was also really funny. It had its own style of humor that ranged from over-the-top gags to well-written and paid-off jokes. It made me laugh a lot through the course of its 5-season run, going from 1996 to 2004. I've reviewed both Hey Arnold movies here on my channel, and it's a mixed bag. The theatrical movie from 2002 failed to live up to the quality of the show and was kind of a big letdown. However, the Jungle movie from a couple years ago was amazing. It continued the story of Arnold's parents and was the perfect end to the arc. Again, if you want more detailed thoughts on both those films, go ahead and check out the individual reviews. Overall, I'm sure the show has its flaws, but what sticks out in my mind when I think about it is always the good stuff. Well, except for Arnold betrays Iggy. We all agree that's not the series' finest moment. Now, it's decision time. When we take all things into account, which is the better classic cartoon, Dexter's Laboratory or Hey Arnold? After weighing all the options and thinking about it for a really long time, I have to go with Hey Arnold. Dexter's Lab is funnier, more unique, and more fun overall, but the dedication to character, portraying sincere emotion, compelling stories, and more won this one for Hey Arnold. It's not easy to compare these two shows since they're so different. Even the format of each episode is different. Arnold with 2 11-minute segments, and Dexter with 3 7-minute ones. But I think these are the best that Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network had to offer in the 90s and early 2000s, so I felt it could be a really interesting versus video for you guys. But this is all just my opinion. Which show do you guys think is better? Hey Arnold or Dexter's Laboratory? Let me know in the comments and give me a few suggestions on more versus ideas you'd like me to cover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.